Let's talk about the 2003 remake of the slasher known as the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name's Doyle, better known to as the Big D, and this time around I bring to you a review of the 2003 slasher flick, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, released by New Line Cinema, directed by Marcus Nispel, written by Scott Kosar, produced by Michael Bay and Mike Fleece, starring Jessica Biel, Jonathan Tucker, Erica Learchin, Mike Vogel, Eric Balfour, and Arlie Ermey. Now, of course, this is a remake of Tobe Hooper's 1974 flick of the same name, but it's the fifth installment of this franchise overall. Its plot follows a group of young adults traveling through rural Texas who encounter Leatherface and his murderous family. Now, several crew members of the original film were involved with the project. Hooper and writer Kim Henkel served as co-producers, Daniel Pearl returned as cinematographer, and John Larroquette reprised his voice narration for the opening ender titles, which of course starts out as, "The film which you are about to see is an account of the tragedy which befell a group of 5 youths." Now, of course, this was the first film to be produced by Platinum Dunes, which, of course, that is Michael Bay's company, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. Well, along with Brad Fuller and Andrew Form. Of course, they would go on to produce remakes of several other 20th century horror films. Now, if you're ready, let's get into our story. On August 18th, 1973, 5 young adults, Erin, her boyfriend Kemper, and their friends Morgan, Andy, and Pepper, are on their way to a Lynyrd Skynyrd concert after traveling to Mexico to purchase marijuana. While driving through Texas, the group picks up a distraught and severely traumatized hitchhiker they see walking in the middle of the road. After they try to talk with the hitchhiker, who speaks incoherently about a bad man, she pulls a loaded revolver from between her legs and shoots herself in the mouth. The group goes to a nearby diner to contact the police, where a woman named Luda May tells them to meet Sheriff Hoyt at the mill. Instead, they find a young boy named Jedediah who tells them Hoyt is at home getting drunk. Erin and Kemper go through the woods to find his house, leaving Morgan, Andy, and Pepper at the mill with Jedediah. They come across a plantation house, and Erin is allowed inside by an amputee named Monty to call for help. Kemper goes inside to look for Erin and is killed by Thomas Hewitt, also known as Leatherface, who hits him with a sledgehammer which sprays his blood on a nearby television. He then drags his body into the basement to make a new mask. Meanwhile, Hoyt arrives at the mill and disposes of the hitchhiker's body. After Erin discovers that Kemper is missing, she and Andy go back to Monty's house and Erin distracts him, while Andy searches for Kemper. When Monty realizes that Andy is inside, he summons Leatherface, who attacks him with a chainsaw. Erin escapes and heads towards the woods, but Leatherface hacks off Andy's left leg with his chainsaw, and he then carries the horrified and begging Andy to the basement, where he impales him on a sharp meat hook before rubbing salt on his stump of a leg. Afterwards, he wraps it with butcher paper and ties it with human hair. Ugh. It's freaky, huh, folks? Erin makes it back to the mill, but before she and the others can leave, Hoyt shows up. After finding marijuana on the dashboard, he orders Erin and Pepper to get out of the van, gives Morgan the gun he took from the hitchhiker, and tells him to reenact how she killed herself. Morgan, disturbed by his demands, attempts to shoot him, but the gun is unloaded. Hoyt then handcuffs Morgan and drives him back to the Hewitt house, taking the van's key with him. Back in the Sinister house, Andy awakens after passing out from pain and desperately tries to lift himself off the meat hook, but Leatherface has booby-trapped it, causing him to impale himself further on the hook. Aaron and Pepper are tracked down by Leatherface, who is wearing Kemper's face as a mask. And when Pepper attempts to run, she is killed by Leatherface, who cuts her in half. Aaron runs and hides in a nearby trailer belonging to an obese middle-aged woman known only as the Tea Lady, and a younger woman named Henrietta who gives her tea that has been drugged. Aaron discovers that they have kidnapped the hitchhiker's baby, but passes out before she can escape. Aaron wakes up at the Hewitt house, surrounded by the entire family. Leatherface, his mother, Luda May, Hoyt, Monty, and Jedediah. Luda May explains to Aaron that Leatherface was tormented his whole life because of a skin disease that left his face disfigured, and she felt that no one cared for her family besides themselves. Yikes. Aaron is taken to the basement where she sees remains of Leatherface's victims. She finds Andy and kills him to end his suffering after failing to help him off the meat hook. Afterwards, she finds Morgan handcuffed in a bathtub. Jedediah, who does not agree with his family's actions, leads them out of the house and distracts Leatherface long enough for them to escape. Aaron and Morgan find an abandoned shack in the woods and barricade themselves inside. Leatherface breaks in and discovers Aaron, but Morgan attacks Leatherface, who hangs him from a chandelier by his handcuffs and cuts through his groin with a chainsaw. Aaron escapes into the woods with Leatherface in tow. She finds a slaughterhouse and attacks Leatherface with a meat cleaver, chopping off his right arm. Now for the last bit and ending, you know the procedure. You have 5 seconds to stop this video. Go to the description box below and fast forward to the time below. If you've seen the movie already, please continue on after the 5 seconds are over with. Here we go. Okay, you've been warned. Erin runs outside and flags down a trucker whom she tries to convince to drive away from the Hewitt house, but he stops to find help at the eatery. Lula May and Hoyt talk to the trucker while Henrietta watches the baby. But when Henrietta goes outside to join in their conversation, Erin sneaks the baby out of the eatery and places her in the sheriff's car. Erin hotwires the car, and Hoyt tries to stop her, but she runs over repeatedly until he's dead. Leatherface only appears in the road and slashes the car with his chainsaw. But Erin manages to escape with the baby, and he watches in frustration as she drives away. 2 days later, 2 investigating officers are killed by Leatherface while doing a crime scene investigation of the Hewitt house, and the narrator states that the case still remains open. End of story. So what did I think of the 2003 version of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Well, I'm gonna say it's pretty bloody in ways, and I do say it's much more bloodier than the original version. I still like the original version though, but this one comes right up there. Anyway, the film did pretty well and became a bit of a success and what have you. It got mostly somewhat mixed reviews and what have you. But however, well, some have considered this to say, like Rotten Tomatoes, an unnecessary remake that's more gory and less scary than the original. Well, don't agree completely. It's not quite less scary. It is in some ways scary. But I still like, but again, I like the original, but I appreciate them making this more gory and what have you. So anyway, yep. Now, of course, this was a surprise. This was directed by Marcus Nispel, who had recently directed advertisements for TV and what have you, as well as music videos, because I knew that name sounded familiar and what have you. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he's directed tons of music videos for artists like, let's see, CNC Music Factory, Joe Jackson, let's see, Mariah Carey. Let's see. Oh, there's a ton of them. Let's see, the Spice Girls, Bush. Oh, the list goes on. But anywho, yep, I will say this is reasonable. He did a pretty good job on directing this. Now for the cast though, I do think most of them are pretty good. I like Jessica Biel as Erin. She did real good. Jonathan Tucker plays Morgan. He was pretty good. Erica Learson plays Pepper. And not too bad. Mike Vogel played Andy, and Eric Balfour played Kemper. Yeah, they weren't too bad. Andrew Brniarski, I apologize if I mispronounced that, plays Thomas Hewitt, aka Leatherface. Yeah. We have Arlie Ermey as Sheriff Hoyt. Really good performance. David Dorfman plays Jedediah. Let's see. Terrence Evans plays Monty. Marietta Marek plays Lil May. And Heather Kafka plays Henrietta. Yep. I think those weren't too bad. But even so, it's still got some pretty good freaking moments and what have you. But I gotta tell you, it was the blood that really made it intense. Yeah, I actually saw this before the original, but hey, after watching the original a few times over this, I come to like it a little more. But hey, you'll have to take my word for it. Still, the film did well for New Line. It went on to make 107 million worldwide, and would go on. But however, its response I'd say was close to mixed, but was mostly dissed. In 2006, there would be a prequel to this called The Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning, which I have yet to see that, but I'm planning to do a review of that if you didn't catch my special announcement video I gave yesterday. So I will be reviewing that. I've decided to just do it on Friday morning before I get ready to review the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is coming up on Netflix. So you'll be ready. So I hope you'll be ready for that. But in the end, with a pretty with a pretty good story, and the cast isn't too bad. The direction's not too bad, and with music by the score by Steve Jablonsky isn't too bad either. So in the end, would I recommend the Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 2003? I'd say just to be on the safe side, give it a one-time watch. But I'm sure a lot of you will be satisfied with it. I mean, a lot of people say they liked it a little more than the original, and some say they like the original more than this one. Hey, you be the judge, okay? So anyway, that's all I'm going to tell you. What are your thoughts on the 2003 version of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre? You can tell me in the comment section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Join me next time when I bring to you a review of another film that really got dissed and what have you, and that was the film This Means War, which is turning 10 this month. So anyway, thanks for watching, and if you like this, you may want to consider check out my reviews for these other two films in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series. In the upper left-hand corner is my review of the original from 1974, and in the upper right-hand corner is my review of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Now, that new Texas Chainsaw Massacre is going to be an actual follow-up to the 1974 classic. Or if you want something different, go to the bottom left-hand corner and see my review for this other film New Line released the same year this did, and that being Freddy vs. Jason, which came out a few months later after this. And the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.